Alright, here we go. I don't know what happened with my mic there for a second, but it did not want to cooperate. Ooh. So, hopefully everyone is doing well tonight. Hopefully we won't have a rage-inducing session like we did last time, because Pokemon Stadium cheats. And it's gonna be, I'm gonna suffer, but I'm gonna suffer for you guys. Because I want to beat this game. I didn't beat it as a kid. I want to beat it. And it's gonna frustrate me, especially when that dude comes out with the Mew last second. Nothing wants to die. Paralyzed. Then there's that one other dude that I have to deal with that just uses like fissure over and over and over again. It should be fun. Should be fun. Oh boy. So let's not dilly-dally any longer. Let's go ahead and hop right into it. Alright. Always a little loud for me. Alright. Oh boy. Oh, we don't have our overlay. Whoops. Let's go ahead and put up our overlay, huh? That would probably be a good idea. I'm using a new N64, by the way. One with a pixel effects instead of Ultra HDMI. I had to redo some stuff here. N64 stream. Here we go. Oh, my dimensions are a wee bit off, it looks like. And then it stretches out and it's perfectly fine there, and I never understand why. Because now it's all stretchy and nice. I'll probably fix that bottom line there though. I'll probably do that after stream though. Oh boy. It's amazing that we've gotten as far as we did. Let me see something real quick. Yeah, you guys can see this too. We're using a new N64. Oops. I forgot this uses different controls. We are outputting at 1080p. My my switcher that this is connected to cannot handle anything beyond 1080p 60, so we're not doing that. So we have a nice 1080p. Do some other cool, neat stuff here. What's this? Realign HDMI output. Disable HDMI realign. No, we're gonna leave that as is. In fact, we're not gonna mess with any of this because I don't want to mess with this. I make it HDR, but I don't think that thing's gonna behave with HDR. We're zoomed in 2x CRT filters, all that jazz. So it'd be nice to see if we have any video issues along the way. Last time our team did somewhat well, making it all the way to the end. Let's look at our registered set of Kadabra, Cloyster, Executor, Rhyhorn, Electrode, and Moltres, right? Which is basically the same as the team up top, except we swapped out Electabuzz for Electrode. Moltres was basically of zero use to us though. I don't think we really used Moltres at all, that I can recall. So we're gonna have to fiddle around with some of these teams. Cloyster was doing pretty good work, but I don't know. I know we're gonna go with the ones that we saw definitely worked in our to our advantage before. So we're definitely gonna roll out with that Kadabra again, because Kadabra's doing the work. If Alakazam knew Psychic, that would be the bee's knees, but it doesn't, so Kadabra it is. Executor was doing work, so was Electabuzz, Electrode. I like that I get Earthquake, Fissure, and Rock Slide here, but I don't know if having a stronger powerhouse in this, but if I pick him, I lose out on Rock Slide, and that's the scary part for me, because then I don't have anything to deal with flying types other than Electrode. I've been rolling with Rhyhorn, but he's only got 227 attack, and if we pick him, we get 300 attack, which would hopefully do a difference whenever we have to land that Earthquake. I don't know, maybe Rhydon would be the better choice. You can always try Rhydon, see how that goes. Starmie is negative. We'll get Surf and Psychic with you, but that's a negative too. We roll out with Lapras. We get Bubble Beam, Ice Beam, Mist, and Sing. We would have 229 attack versus Cloyster's. I'm blind. I think I passed Cloyster. Maybe. I don't know. Or Cloyster's definitely not this low on the list. What am I doing? There it is, Cloyster. Cloyster's got 209, and it's definitely fast. And it's got Water Wrap, which is Clamp. Oh boy. I wish I could compare them side by side. We're a little slower with the Lapras, but we would get tons more HP and defense. Our defense would be 199, I think. And Cloyster's defense is 399. Never mind. Cloyster can take more of a hit, but it has less HP. So does Lapras balance that out by having more HP? Having that additional HP make the difference? I know not. Since we're just goofing off here, trying to come up with teams. I would need a way to deal with some other stuff. Now I don't have it a lot to deal with flying types, which is the scary part. Now I'm just thinking. I mean, Lapras's Ice Beam and Electro can deal with flying types, I guess. That would be my answer to the flying types. Got an answer for fighting types, an answer for fire types. Don't have an answer for most grass types, though. But we do have Deport Poison. Already got a grass type. What am I doing? Nice if we had something with a fighting type move. Easier said than done. Oh, to get Dig and Rock Slide out of you. But you don't have anywhere near the attack that that Rhydon would have. What about you, Poliwrath? What do you got? Submission. Machamp, what have you got? Low kick, of course. Machoke, what do you have? Submission, take Seismic Toss. Whatever. Those are kind of whatever moves. It would only exist to Hypnosis Dream Eater stuff. It is kind of risky. Always go with a fighting type. Everything he's got is a fighting. Pretty fast, too. Would Hitmonlee thinking the Bruce Lee Pokemon be the way to go, guys? I don't know. I just know I don't want to make it that far and then get absolutely steamrolled. That's my fear. I don't wanna get steamrolled anymore. I wanna win, guys. I wanna win. We go with Jinx again. Got Psychic. You're part Psychic. That's good. We got Ice Punch. We got Body Slam. Body Slam's good. We got what Lovely Kiss does. I think that puts you to sleep. Almost 300 HP. Would that be the way to go? I don't know. What else have we got? Not you, Mr. Mime. Get Rock Slide through you. 135 attacks, not that bad. You're not slow either. It's Tauros got. Let's check out Tauros. Is Tauros here somewhere? If I was Tauros, where would I be on this list? Because I don't know my Pokemon numbers. I probably passed it and I'm an idiot. I feel like it's towards the end of the list, Tauros. Oh, nope. Nope. Oh, there we go, Tauros. I'll get Fire Blast through you at 179. I mean, you're fast. That Stomp would probably do a lot of damage. Weezing's not gonna do so good. What's up? Dangling around here, trying to figure out how to round off this team. Forget what Lovely Kiss does. I think it puts people to sleep, I think. Puts them to sleep. Okay, we'll register this and see how this goes. Time to get wrecked. Can't wait to get wrecked. Do, do, do. Do, 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 do. Yes.
We're finally underway with Pokemon Tournament Prime Cup Master Ball. Which trainer will go home with the Champions Trophy this time?
He's got Earthquake. Oh, he's also got Substitute.
It created a substitute.
Hey, it's me, but smaller.
Vigorous attack. The substitute was used up. Sparks are flying in this heated match.
Oh, I kind of did that.
A substitute.
Exact team, actually. Rhyhorn, Lapras, and Kadabra, I think.
Disappear. The crowd
He's just gonna
is
stall me
building
out,
over
huh?
this hot battle.
Oh, he's gonna Earthquake finally.
What will it do? Super effective.
That was your mistake.
Earthquake. Heavy damage.
He lived!
Neither
What?
one is conceding an inch. What's this? That was weak.
Why Rock Slide game?
There it goes. Yeah, it's a hit. Oh, is it down and out? What will the next Pokemon be?
I don't know.
Oh, it's Pinsir. The Pokemon are entirely different types.
Strength.
What's that? The attack wasn't effective. What now? It didn't do
I don't
much
want to
damage.
switch out.
The intense battle continues. They go into battle poses. The Pokemon returns to its Pokeball.
Rock Slide, I think, is super effective. Oh boy, Seismic Toss.
There,
That's only a
it's
guaranteed
hit.
100.
How will the swamped Pokemon fight? Now. What's this? A decent hit. What's that? Severe hit. Fireworks are flying in this battle. They strike fighting poses.
Why Sword Stance now?
Attack power.
You're gonna go down.
Ice Beam. That's a good hit. Wow.
Rock Slide is super effective against what?
There's
feel like
a
I missed some
distinct
context there.
difference in the number of remaining Pokemon. Oh, it's Zebra. The remaining Pokemon count is 3-1. The battle
Bug.
has become one.
Oh, we don't have Rock Slide now.
What now? Boom! There's the attack. And the weak spot. Wow! Taken down with one hit. And there goes the battle.
Well, we won. There's our first perfect. Alrighty. Ice Beam should work on a lot of these guys, right? So I should go Lapras and Jinx. Lapras, Jinx, and Executor, I guess. What's Jinx got? Ice Punch. Lapras has Ice Beam. Kadabra over Executor. Alright. Here we go.
Battle can we expect to see? Begin round 2. Ice Beam. Whoa! Looks like a bad Pokemon choice. That was quick. Down already. This is a wild one from the word go. Oh, it's Persian. How will the type difference affect that?
That Persian's gonna know Hyper Beam.
Our issue.
Yep.
What'll it do?
And it's a crit.
There's the attack.
I don't want to switch out, I think. Actually, I don't have to switch out. I'm guaranteed a kill, I think, if I do another Ice Beam. But then I should definitely switch after that, I think. Unless I want to get a safe swap out right now. What do you think?
They're staring each other down.
I can safely swap, or I can Ice Beam, probably confirm the takedown and then swap, depending on what they have.
The trainer hasn't issued an order. They strike fighting poses.
Attack, free hit.
It can't make a move. Savage attack. Severe hit. Oh, it's down. There's a difference in the number of reserve Pokemon. Oh, it's Aerodactyl.
I'm definitely not gonna outspeed that, so...
The battle has become
Come on out,
one-sided.
Jinx.
Oh, there's going to be a change of Pokemon. Oh, it's Jinx. It flew up into the sky.
Of course it did.
How will the swapped Pokemon fight? There it goes.
And it's a crit.
What's the weak spot?
And it took me out.
Taken down with one hit.
Oh, I'm restarting.
What
That already
Pokemon
means
will
that
be fighting
this
next?
early on I already don't get a continue.
Oh, it's Kadabra.
Aerodactyl's fly
The
took
remaining
out
Pokemon
Jinx.
stock is 2-1. To come back.
Fantastic. Already gonna start with the BS, huh, game? Gotta love having my time wasted.
We're finally underway with Pokemon Tournament Prime Cup Master Ball. Which trainer will go home with the Champions Trophy this time?
Super Fang, yep, there goes half my health.
Here's the first move.
Oh, I missed.
Oh,
Surprised.
that's a miss. Whoa! Severe hit. The crowd's excitement is building over this hot battle. What's that? A savage hit! Earthquake! Yeah, it's a hit! Wow! Going down! We're waiting for the next Pokemon.
We're waiting for the next opportunity for the game to cheat.
The Pokemon are entirely different types. Here's a Pokemon change. Oh, it's Lumber! What's this? Boom! Will this Pokemon swap change the flow of battle? It increased in
Well, it's
attack
decided to
power.
use Sword Stance early on, huh?
What'll it do? Major damage! The heated battle rages on!
Oh my god. I just picked the wrong move.
What now? It just shrugged off that hit!
Yep, they don't have Rock Slide.
It can't make
And
the
now
move.
I can't move.
What a furious battle! The attack's still going on. There, it's a hit.
I'm just see if it would be worth having the stronger Earthquake.
Fireworks are flying in this battle. The
But
attack
I'm
is still
debating switching back to Rhyhorn. I mean, I would have so much more attack power if I use the Rhydon. Like, I think almost 70 points worth of extra attack.
It increased its attack power. What's that? A savage hit! Oh! It's down! There's a distinct difference in the number of remaining Pokemon. Oh, it's Magmar!
Of course, it's a Magmar.
The remaining Pokemon count
Do you think
is
I should
3
swap
to
out?
1. The battle has become one-sided.
Or should I Bubble Beam it?
They're staring
Man, I
each
could
other
always swap
down.
back out to Rhydon. Rhydon has half health. I don't know what that could have. I don't know what he has.
The trainer hasn't issued an order.
What's the opinion?
What's the matter, trainer?
I'm consulting with my team. Shut up, announcer. Oh, we'll find out if he can tank a hit or not. Oh, I can definitely tank a Fire Punch.
What's this? Yeah, it's a hit. Bumblebee. Wow, that's effective hit.
Think I could tank another hit?
Flying in this heated match.
Or should I swap? A safe bet would be to swap.
They're staring each other down. The trainer hasn't issued an order.
Let's swap out to Kadabra.
They go into battle poses. Here's a Pokemon change. Oh, it's Kadabra!
And of course, you know, Confuse Ray. Is it gonna connect? Of course it connected. Why would I ask if it's gonna connect?
How will the swapped Pokemon fight?
And he hurt himself.
Whoa! It attacked itself!
Goodness gracious. The amount of stupidity going on. I didn't have to say it, but I knew the confused ray was gonna make me be confused.
What now? That was weak. Will this Pokemon swap change the flow of battle? What'll it do? Hit the weak spot. How's that? Super effective. Oh! It's down! And there goes the battle!
That was more of a struggle than it needed to be. If this fails again, we'll swap out the Rhydon for the Rhyhorn. Forgot, what did we agree on here? I think it was Lapras. Lapras, Jinx, and Kadabra, I think is what it was.
What kind of battle can we expect to see? Begin round 2.
Here comes the Ice Beam. Oh, we're gonna get Toxic first.
Oh, toxic! It opted to slowly damage the opponent. Ice Beam! Oh, with frozen fire!
Really, you're gonna freeze him now? That means he survived. Survived an Ice Beam.
In this battle.
I like how he freezes. Why couldn't another Pokemon freeze later on in the match?
Here's a Pokemon chain. Oh, it's Aerodon!
Oh, he's about to get Ice Beamed right in the face.
Savage attack! Whoa! Looks like a bad Pokemon choice.
Everything is living by a sliver of health, and that's gonna be so
Will this
annoying.
Pokemon swap change the flow of battle?
He's gonna fly. Oh, he's gonna use Hyper Beam. Never mind.
What's this? Whoa! Bumblebee! No! This Pokemon looks wrong! Wow! Going down! What Pokemon will be fighting next? Oh, it's Persian! It has to make up for lost ground.
It's gonna
How
use...
will the type difference affect
I don't know what to do. He's gonna use Hyper Beam again, and I'm pretty sure that'll kill Lapras, and I'm pretty sure it'll kill Jinx, and I'm pretty sure it'll kill Kadabra.
They're staring each other down.
You would think Lapras would survive, but he's not. And even if he does survive, I'm sure it'll be like LOL Toxic.
The trainer hasn't issued an order.
I am not liking this trainer right now. He's giving us... I don't think swapping is worth it. Then if he kills me, I'm gonna end up just quitting again.
The trainer hasn't issued an order.
Use Payday instead.
What now? A decent hit. There's the attack. Hit the weak.
Oh my god.
Taken down with one hit. There's a distinct difference in the number of remaining Pokemon. There's nothing left in reserve. It's a frozen statue! The remaining Pokemon count is 3-1. The battle has become one-sided. The Pokemon returns to its Pokeball. Oh, it's Kadabra! It's frozen rock salt! How will the swapped Pokemon fight? A Psychic Blast! That's the weak spot! Oh! It's down!
I mean, it was probably the safest move to do, regardless. Woohoo! 2 trainers down. 6 more to go. That's gonna feel like an eternity. Here comes the judo karate boy, whatever. I feel like this is an easy Kadabra lead. Kadabra, Executor, Jinx, since they all have Psychic. Scary part is the Jinx can probably get pretty risky with the with any of them having Earthquake. Go with Jinx and hope that it doesn't come to that.
The upcoming battles look promising. We're into round 3.
And okay, it wasn't a Jolteon, that's good.
A Psychic Blast! Oh, this Pokemon looks wrong. Taken down on the word go! There's been major action already. Oh, it's Machamp! The Pokemon are entirely different types. There it goes!
I don't know if it'll live. It's a super effective and a crit, so hopefully it goes in our favor.
Gone! It's a one-hit wonder! There's a distinct difference in the number of remaining Pokemon. Oh, it's Nidoking!
Got kinda really lucky here.
The remaining Pokemon count is 3-1. The battle has become one-sided. Savage attack! Round 0! Wow!
This is an incredibly fast match. But you know that the next trainer is the annoyance, right? That's the one that's gonna use Fissure and Horn Drill and all of that nonsense. Oh boy. Electro Lapras and whoever. Uh, Jinx is pretty fast. I think Lovely Kiss has a 75% chance of putting them to sleep. I don't know if that would be the move.
The crowd's excitement is building. This is round 4.
Of course. I'm screwed regardless of who I send out. He doesn't have to use Fissure. Everything is weak to like ground type. Fantastic.
They're staring each other down.
And it's Doug Trio, which is ridiculously fast. Snapper, Swap, or Flash. I don't think Flash works on ground types, though. That's my concern.
What's the matter, trainer? The trainer hasn't issued an order. What's the matter, trainer?
I don't know, every time I've tried to use it on a ground type, it just never works, ever. I'm kind of paranoid to use it.
Hasn't issued an order. What's the matter, trainer?
I mean, I'll try, but I feel like it's not gonna work.
Issued an order. They go into battle poses. Changing Pokemon.
Oh, he's swapping out.
Pokemon
Did not
must
expect
have been
that.
The right choice. Oh, it's Articuno. Brilliant flash. Accuracy took a hit. They're both being cautious. They strike fighting poses.
What?
Another Pokemon change.
Are you kidding me right now? What was the point of this?
Get you Thunder Wave. The move failed. How will
Okay,
the
Flash
Pokemon
again.
fight? It's a revolving door
Again,
of
really?
Pokemon.
Okay, you know what? The game has to be cheating at this point. Why is it doing these swaps and then the second I decide to do Thunder Wave, it like he swaps out again? This is
How
like
will
screw
this
you,
swap
Nintendo.
affect
Like
the
seriously.
outcome?
Gonna Thunder Wave again. Oh, this time you're not swapping out.
What now? Oops, it's paralyzed. It's paralyzed on the spot. Fireworks are flying in this battle. Here's a Pokemon chase. Oh, it's Lava. It can't move again. Will this Pokemon swap change the flow of battle?
Oh, he didn't swap out. I'm surprised.
Light speed. Kapow!
And it's a crit.
Death.
I think he's going down.
Gone! It's a one-hit wonder! We're waiting for the next Pokemon. Oh, it's Tara! How will the type difference affect that?
Now the question is what to do.
They're staring each other down. The trainer hasn't issued an order. What's the matter, trainer?
I'll swap to Electrode.
The Pokemon returns to its Pokeball. Whoa! Horn Drill!
That would have
had no
taken out
effect.
Lapras.
How will the swapped Pokemon fight? What's
This
this?
will make sure that Horn Drill can't connect anymore because now he's slower than me. Unless he body slams, he gets lucky on the paralyzed, which he probably will because the computer
What will it
cheats.
do? Boom! What a furious battle! What's that? A savage hit! What now? There, it's a hit! The crowd's excitement is building over this hot
I think I should
battle.
swap or try another Thunder.
They're staring each other down. The trainer hasn't issued an order.
Who should I swap to? Do you think?
What's the matter, trainer? The trainer hasn't issued an order. Oh, there's going to be a change of Pokemon. What's this?
Of course.
A decent hit.
Horn Drill. I'm gonna get killed. Watch. Calling it
How
right
will
now.
this swap affect the outcome?
Calling it right now. Horn Drill, instant kill. Or Fisher, same difference.
Fisher! Missed the target.
I'm surprised. Oh, but I'm paralyzed.
It's
So,
paralyzed on the
so this
spot.
turn effectively doesn't count.
Driver
So let's see.
one is conceding an inch.
Since I couldn't hit, this turn doesn't count. So, is it gonna kill me?
Whoa! Oh, it's another miss. What will it do? Severe hit.
Of course, he lives by 2 HP. Because why not? Why would he not just lose the last 2 HP?
Appears beat.
Oh my god.
Ah!
There we go.
Oh, it's down. Which Pokemon is coming out? They go into battle poses. Oh, it's Jake! The Pokemon are entirely different types.
Love the cheating. Gotta love it. Gotta love the cheating.
A Psychic Blast! Yeah, it's a hit! It goes down after a good fight! There's only one Pokemon left in reserve. We're down to the last Pokemon.
Oh no, because he's just gonna
The
dig.
remaining Pokemon stock is
Everything's gonna
2-1.
miss because he's gonna dig.
The 10th battle continues.
Oh, he's faster than me, so he doesn't have to worry about paralysis or anything.
Oh, the attack missed! Oh, Ice Punch! Super effective!
Of course, he gets to live.
Fireworks are flying in this battle. They strike fighting poses. That's a miss. How's that? Boom! Wow! Goes down! And there goes the battle!
Feel like Electrode. Kadabra. Jinx? I don't know. What do you think? Executor instead of Kadabra, interesting. I think I'll go with Kadabra just in case then. Actually. Yeah, I think it's gonna be that.
We're in the last half of the tournament. Things will get quite hot. Begin round 5.
This is interesting. Should I flash?
They're just trading warning blows now.
Should I swap?
They're staring each other down.
And I'll try flash, see if we can lower the accuracy.
Brilliant flash! Accuracy took a hit.
I don't think it's gonna miss, but... Oh, he's paralyzed.
It's paralyzed on the spot. The crowd's excitement is building over this hot battle. What's this? The Pokemon's feeling it. It's building energy for the next attack. Fireworks are flying in this battle. What now? The move
It failed.
to click.
Of course it did.
Savage attack. A savage
And it's
hit.
still connected.
Neither one is conceding an inch.
What do you think? 2.
They're staring each other down.
Executor? I figured if you'd say
The trainer
Executor.
hasn't issued an order. The Pokemon returns to its Pokeball. Oh, it's Executor!
My Executor is objectively worse compared to his.
What's that? Yeah, it's a hit! How will the swapped Pokemon fight?
What do you think? Psychic or Stomp?
What'll it do?
That did absolutely nothing. Oh, he's got Toxic too. Fantastic.
Oh, toxic! The poison will slowly sap the strength. What a furious
See
battle!
what's... So confirmed, Stomp is a worthless move.
The attack
Oh,
wasn't
this
effective.
nothing's gonna work on him.
What now? Oh, the attack missed! Both Pokemon look ready for more!
What do you think?
They're staring each other down.
If I swap to
Trainer
Kadabra,
hasn't issued an order.
I might be able to tank.
Here's a Pokemon change. Oh, it's Kadabra! Vigorous attack! Major damage!
Holy crap.
Will this Pokemon swap change the flow of battle?
That did more than half my health.
It's restoring HP!
And he's barely been affected by paralysis. Like as I say, he's affected by it.
The heated battle rages on! It's more resistant to physical blows. What's next? It didn't work.
Can't work. You already have one of my Pokemon with status effect. I think is what the stadium rules are.
What'll it do? That was weak.
It did like nothing.
What's this? The move failed. Fireworks are flying in this battle. What now? It's not very effective. What's next? The move failed to click.
I don't think it's ever going to connect, because I think one of the stadium rules is you can only have one Pokemon under a status effect at a time. So until one of my Pokemon dies, it can't be... Until the Pokemon with the status effect faints, he can't connect it.
Paralyzed on the spot. What a furious battle. What's this? The special stat
Of
is
course.
back. What now? The
Never mind.
poison will
I guess
flow
it doesn't
back
apply to
the
this,
brain.
or maybe it's only to a specific
Neither
status
one
effect.
is conceding an inch. A psychic
I thought I read somewhere in the rules
yeah, it's
before
a hit.
that was... Oh, now you want to make it a crit?
Finally taken
Now when the
down.
crit does it... I hate this game.
What Pokemon will be fighting next? Oh, it's Omastar! The Pokemon are entirely different types.
Could I swap to Executor Solar Beam? Or should I Psychic with Kadabra?
They're staring each other down. The trainer hasn't issued an order. What's next? The Stat is down.
Hydro Pump.
Major damage. The intense battle continues.
A Psychic again. I think Psychic will kill. Well, we'll find out.
What'll
I think
do?
it's gonna live by a sliver, personally.
A savage hit. And it's
Oh, I guess not. I'm glad to be wrong.
There's a difference in the number of reserve Pokemon. Oh, it's Poliwrath.
And Psychic should take him out, hopefully in one hill. One hit rather,
The
sorry.
battle has become one-sided.
Or should I recover first? Should I recover first then Psychic, or should I just Psychic right out the gate?
They're staring each other down. The trainer hasn't issued an order.
Recover first.
They strike fighting poses. It's restoring HP.
I'll lose some of that to the poison. He's gonna Hydro Pump again.
Savage attack. Severe hit. The crowd's excitement is building.
I don't think it'll
over
be
this
worth
hot
it,
battle.
and I'm scared of the thing. Should I swap to Executor? Swap to Executor and Psychic instead.
They're staring each other down.
But remember, I'm under the effects of Toxic, so it's just gonna keep getting
Trainer
worse.
hasn't issued an order.
That's why I'm not sure if recovering is gonna be
What's the matter,
good.
trainer?
He's just gonna keep Hydro Pumping me.
The trainer hasn't issued an order.
I'm gonna swap.
They go into battle pose. Oh, there's going to be a change of Pokemon. Oh, it's poison. Will it be okay?
This shouldn't do
What's
much.
this?
Oh, it missed.
Oh, the attack missed. How will the swapped Pokemon fight? What now? The attack wasn't effective. There's the attack. Perfect aim.
He lives by a tiny little sliver. Oh my goodness. Every time that they live by a sliver.
What's that?
Oh my god, it'd be funny if he takes himself out.
That's a miss. How's that? It's doubly effective. Oh, is it down and out? And there goes the battle.
Oh boy. Oh, we got 4 continues now, right? It's the bird brain with the freaking legendaries. I know, I guess Electrode, Lapras, and Jinx. What do you think? Electro, Lapras, and Jinx? Lap, Rhydon, Elect, Order, however. Rhydon doesn't have Rock Slide. Oh, because he has Thunder, is what I'm assuming. I've completely forgot that he had Thunder. Alright, Rhydon. Electrode. Oh wait, my mistake. Lapras. Rhydon. Electrode. Blue. Order, however. I don't know if then Electro should go first just because he's fastest. If Zapdos comes out or Moltres comes out, Rhydon will be fine. He'll probably also be fine against the Pidgeot and the Fearow. The big concern there is I need someone to deal with that Articuno if it comes out. Thunder, but his special is also on only 129. Electrode, Rhydon, Lapras, here we go.
The field is thinning out. We're into round 6.
Did I Thunder or Thunder Wave? I feel like Thunder. Or I could swap out to Rhydon.
They're staring each other down.
Yes, they are.
The trainer hasn't issued an order.
I think I'll swap to
What's the
Rhydon.
matter, trainer? Changing Pokemon. That Pokemon must not have been the right choice. Oh, it's Rhydon.
Fire Blast. Fire Blast.
Here's the first move. A powerful hit. The tightness in there has no effect.
Whoa!
Fireworks
That
are
did so
flying
much
in
more
this
damage
battle.
than I thought it was gonna do. He's probably gonna kill Rhydon.
What now? Whoa! That was overpowering. Whoa! Perfect hit.
That did
Neither
nothing.
one is conceding an inch. They strike fighting.
Oh my, I don't know why I swapped out. I should have just let him kill Rhydon. Rhydon's useless for the rest of this match unless I send out Electrode and Paralyze, and then he can technically go first. There's some
It's building energy for the next attack.
glowing. What is this?
How will this swap affect
I've never
the
seen that
outcome?
before. What the heck?
Now,
Oh, Sky Attack.
savage attack. A savage hit. What'll it do? Smack the weak spot. This battle is raging back and forth.
Great.
What's next?
That's probably gonna kill me. And it's a crit, so it's definitely gonna kill me.
Wow! Going down!
Oh my god.
What Pokemon will be fighting next? Here's a Pokemon. The Pokemon are entirely different types.
It is ridiculous how much damage Fire blasted to
Here comes Thunder!
Rhydon. And it missed, of
That's
course.
a miss.
Alright, so Fire Blast is gonna probably kill me. If not, take me all the way down.
Heart Flow. The crowd's excitement is building over this hot battle.
This is probably not gonna end well.
There it goes.
Of course! And Fire Blast has not missed a single time. But if I had ever used Fire Blast, every single one of them would have missed. This match is gone. It's lost. Thanks for cheating, Nintendo.
There's a distinct difference in the number of remaining Pokemon. We're down to the last Pokemon. This one's already taken serious damage. It's worrisome. There's only one Pokemon against 3. The battle has become one-sided.
What an insult.
It's not very effective. Savage attack. Super effective. It's finally taken down.
I wish it would have just killed me. Like, this is pointless at this point. I'm gonna be slower than whatever he sends out.
It's one Pokemon against 2 now. The combatants are making sparks fly. Throw! Yeah, it's a hit. Oh, is it down and out? And there goes the battle.
And there goes the cheating victory to Nintendo and the Pokemon Company for all, because, you know, having 3 legendaries on a team that I have to account for, you know, that's fair. This no-name, nobody trainer has 3 legendary Pokemon on his team, but go on, Nintendo. I'm sure that's normal. What do you think? Same routine? Rhydon's Thunder is worthless.
The field is thinning out. We're into round 6.
Mole trash. Trash is right.
Now. Vigorous attack.
Of course!
That's a miss.
But Fire Blast!
Savage attack.
The fire version of basically Thunder. That has never missed.
Fireworks are flying.
Of course not.
Combatants face each other.
It's too late now. I saw that too late.
Effective hit. Fire blast. Boom. And it's down.
I don't know what Thunder Wave would have potentially have been able to do for me there, though. I'm gonna be honest. Unless I get lucky with the Paralyze, which rarely ever happens, but if I get paralyzed, like the last time on stream that I was paralyzed 2 turns in a row.
What's this? Danger death! Ice beam! That one hurt!
Oh, now you want to give me a crit?
Oh! Is it down and out?
This is why I use moves like the next tier down. I won't use Blizzard, I'll use Ice Beam. I won't use Thunder, I'll use Thunderbolt. I won't use Fire Blast, I use Flamethrower. Oh, now that's great. Now I wish I had the Rhydon. Fantastic. I bet his Thunder connects on the first one, though. Of course. Was there ever any doubt that his Thunder wouldn't miss?
There's only one Pokemon left in reserve.
I don't think we're gonna make it to the last trainer this time.
Pokemon against 2 now. The 10th battle continues.
Yeah, but our old team couldn't do anything against the last trainer. Not a single thing.
What's next? Perfect game! Hit you, Thunder Wave! Oops, it's paralyzed! What a furious battle! Savage attack! Severe hit! What now? Smack the weak spot! The
We're dead.
intense battle continues! Throw! There, it's a hit! Oh! It's down!
Had to deal with 2 legendary. I wouldn't be surprised if the third Pokemon was going to be the other legendary. Stupid bird boy. He had 1 legendary. Fine, but no, they gave him Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres. All 3 of them. All legendary stats. And then he's used 2 of them every single time.
The field is thinning out. We're into round 6. Hit you, Thunder Wave! Oops, it's paralyzed!
Oh, now you want to be...
It's paralyzed on the spot!
I'm so aggravated.
There it goes! Wow, that's an effective hit! What's next? Major damage! It's a head-on collision. Power versus power.
Should I swap to Lapras and Ice Beam it? Or would that be worthless?
They're staring each other down. The trainer hasn't issued an order. What's the matter, trainer? The trainer hasn't issued an order. They strike fighting poses. The Pokemon returns to its Pokeball. Oh, it's Rubber! What's this? And the weak spot. How will the SWAT Pokemon fight? Combatants face each other. What'll it do? Boom!
It's not super effective because it cancels each other out.
It flew up into the sky!
Of course it did.
One still raring to go, but the opponent appears beat. Ice Beam! Oops, that's a miss. What now? There, it's a hit. Sparks are flying in this heated match. How's that? Good hit. And it's down. Which Pokemon is coming out? Oh, it's Pidgeot! This is a fight between two different types of Pokemon.
Fly, fly.
Flew up into the sky! There it goes! Oh, the attack missed! What a furious battle! What's next? A decent hit! Savage attack! Super effective!
I can't believe it lived.
Neither one is conceding an inch.
I really can't believe it lived. Oh, and it knows Hyper Beam. Of course it does.
Hyper Beam.
And it's a critical hit. Of course it is. Why wouldn't it be?
Down and out. The next Pokemon is being prepped. They strike fighting poses. Oh, it's kicked! How will the type difference affect that? Oh, Ice Punch! It's doubly effective. Oh, it's down! There's only one Pokemon left in reserve. Oh, it's Zero! The remaining Pokemon stock is 2-1. The tense battle continues. Vigorous attack! A savage hit! There's the attack! Whoa! That's tough!
The one time he doesn't use more than one legendary. Look at that, I won, huh? What? It's almost as it's like, if you gave me a fair fight, even if it's tough, I might win. Oh, right, Mr. Status Effect over here. Using Electrode, Kadabra, and Lapras. I mean, that might be the best choice. I'm also thinking Rhydon. Rhydon can deal with a lot of that. Could deal with the Gengar, could deal with the Raichu. I think it could deal with the Lapras and the Rapidash. I guess Rhydon. I Kadabra and Dealer's Choice.
This is it, the semi-finals! No one wants to lose having come this far.
That works in my favor.
They go into battle poses.
And he fire spins.
Here's the first move. It took the abuse easily. It can't make a move. They're just trading warning blows now. The attack is still continuing. Oh! Neither one is conceding an inch.
He's just gonna keep fire spinning for all eternity. And fire spin's never gonna miss. Because if it was me, it would miss at least once. I would not be able to do this at all. It's going to miss. But with him, it's gonna be like 3 to 5 turns every single time, and it's never gonna miss, and he's actually gonna be able to kill me that way.
The attack's still going on. A minor hit. The heated battle rages on. Combatants face each other. The attack is still continuing. A light hit. Sparks are flying in this heated match. What's that? Oh, that's a miss.
I finally missed.
Wow, that's an effective hit. Down! That didn't take much. What Pokemon will be fighting next? Oh, it's Alakazam! The Pokemon are entirely different types.
If I can survive whatever he dishes out to me,
What's
might be
this?
able to take him out.
Severe hit.
Nope.
It's finally taken down. We're waiting for the next Pokemon.
This is gonna be a Kadabra fight to the death. Keep recovering. Curious why Jinx instead of Kadabra. Oh,
The trainer hasn't issued an order.
like we could just keep psychicking each other.
Oh, it's Kadabra. We're evenly matched at 2 Pokemon aside. Neither Pokemon is backing down. What'll it do? Oh!
Well, that's pretty annoying.
What now? That was weak. Fireworks are flying in this battle. They strike fighting poses.
I'm gonna have to recover after this one.
There, it's a
Actually,
hit.
he goes first, so I can't recover from that.
What's next?
I don't think Dig would do anything because his attack is worthless.
Excitement is building over this hot battle.
Yeah, I didn't realize that I wouldn't outspeed him.
They're staring each other down. The trainer hasn't issued an order. Yeah, it's a hit. And it's down. There's only one Pokemon left in reserve. Oh, it's Jake! It's one Pokemon against two now. The tense battle continues.
Body slam, I guess.
They're staring each other down. The trainer hasn't issued an order. Now. What's this? The special stat is down.
I'm curious to why it would do that and not seismic toss.
What'll it do? A decent hit! What a furious battle! Combatants face each other. What now? The special stat
I like
is
how
down.
twice in a row my special stat has gone down.
What's that? What's the weak? It goes down after a good fight. We're down to one Pokemon aside. Oh, it did it! There's just one Pokemon aside now. The battle is coming right down
What
to
do you
the
think?
wire.
I could lovely kiss. That's a 75% chance of putting him to sleep, or I could just start using psychic right out the gate and doing as much as I
They're
can.
staring each other
But if he's
down.
faster than me, then I don't know what's gonna happen. Or if lovely kiss misses.
The trainer hasn't issued an order.
Oh, we were faster than the Ditto. Surprised.
And the weak.
And it's a crit. We might win. All right, we won.
Taken down with one hit.
I didn't expect to win this fight, if I'm gonna be honest. Maybe Rhydon. Rhydon, Electrode, and Lapras. You know, it all comes down to luck at this point.
This is it, the final battle. Who will bask in the glory of the championship?
Oh. I mean, unless his fire blast, which is I'm assuming what he's gonna do. No, he digs instead. Of course he has dig. Everything has dig and hyper beam.
Earthquake!
How does earthquake not work if you're underground?
They're just trading warning blows now.
Like, that shouldn't even be a feint at that point. It should just be like you're dead. You got crushed under everything. I don't know what I can do here. I can only hope that I can tank the dig. Do you think I can tank the dig and hit him with an earthquake?
Hasn't issued an order.
No, it's not a thing yet.
What's the matter, trainer? What now? That's the weak spot. Savage attack. It's doubly effective.
He's down.
Gone! It's a one-hit wonder. What Pokemon will be fighting next? Oh, it's you! The Pokemon are entirely different types.
I guess earthquake. Keep using earthquake on him. Oh, he's gonna psychic though. I'm not gonna survive that. Oh, I survived that. I'm actually surprised.
What's next? Severe hit. The intense battle continues.
What do you think? Just earthquake again, just take the kill, and then safe swap in, I'm assuming.
They're staring each other down. A psychic blast! Boom! Wow! Go down!
What should I swap into?
We're waiting for the next Pokemon.
I'm guessing Electro, Thunder Wave, and just Thunder and Pray. Because I know he's gonna have Thunder Wave.
Now. Oh, it's Electro! How will the type difference affect battle?
He's gonna Thunder Wave me too.
Oops, it's paralyzed. What's this? Oops, it's paralyzed. Sparks are flying in this heated match. What now?
Please don't miss.
That's a good hit. There it goes. A savage hit! The crowd's excitement is building over this hot battle.
Oh my god, I'm paralyzed.
It's paralyzed on the spot.
Oh, he's paralyzed too. I don't need this. It's gonna raise my blood pressure. Please. Please connect. Please connect. Please connect. Please connect. Please connect. And it's a crit. Oh my god. Oh my god, it's a crit and it connected. Oh my god.
There's only one
Please, 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 something that at least Slappers can deal with if something happens to Electrode. Oh crap. Alright, so if I Thunder Wave him, he can't nap. So he can't abuse rest. At the very least. And then I don't know if I should just spend the rest of Electrode's life using actually no, if he rests, if they use rest, it overrides it, right? like clear status effects too, I think,
The
right?
trainer hasn't issued
I think
an
it
order.
does. Crap. Okay, so I'm gonna try to Thunder Wave.
Double edge. Harsh blow.
And he killed me. And because he kills me, he doesn't take the recoil damage.
We're down to one Pokemon aside. Oh, it's Zebra.
Yeah, that was a stupid thing from Gen 1. You don't take recoil damage from something if the Pokemon dies.
Coming right down to the wire.
Ice Beamer Sing.
They're staring each other down.
I hope he freezes.
There, it's a hit. It's more resistant to physical blows. What a furious battle. What's next? Boom!
Oh my god, he knows Thunder of all things?
Oh, the attack missed. Neither one is conceding an inch. Ice Beam. Good hit.
He's gonna rest. He did not rest. If I live this, I might win. Please live. Oh my god. Oh my god, we might win. 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 Oh my god, we might win.
How's that?
Oh my god, we won. Oh my god, screw this game.
And it's down.
Beamers.
Congratulations! The champion has been decided.
He didn't rest. Because he didn't rest is the only reason I won. If he had rested, I would have been screwed. It's wacky that this team struggled and somehow still won. But the other team that made it all the way to the end couldn't do anything. It's not funny. It's crap. It's bullocks. Oh my god. Finally. Get out of my face, Prime Cup. Oh hey, what you told me about the Dodrio Game Boy. Awesome, you want a Dodrio Game Boy. I like how it's gold instead of silver. And then there's Mewtwo. The ultimate Pokemon Mewtwo lies in wait. Can your Pokemon defeat it? It's gonna be level 100. I go with the same team. LOL. Actually, shouldn't I just go paralysis and just YOLO and try to get like fissure off on him or something? Jolteon's moves here real quick. I think it's the exact same thing as the Prime Cup. Or Well, he doesn't have a way to paralyze, but I'm guessing you were thinking if he had Thunder Wave and then Pin Missile since he's Psychic type. I think you use all 6 against him. Actually, I'm not sure. We'll find out now, I guess. Oh, maybe. It says 3 entry start up there, so I don't know. Yeah. May as well give it a try. You got a better idea for going up against Mewtwo with Reno Pokemon at level 100? Because if you do, I'm all ears. Mewtwo is the trainer. But yeah, you can use all. Psychic with Recover. I mean, that can also work, I guess. He's been paralyzed for 2 turns. After you win, I'm a knockout. Bold of you to assume that I'm gonna win. Right now, I'm just trying to mess him up a little bit so that hopefully a bunch of stuff misses when I send everyone else out. Right now I'm just being extra trolly, especially since I got lucky with all those for like free paralyzed turns. I like how the Psychic finally connected, although so many flashes were used. It failed. Did I use it 5 turns in a row? Might have used it already 5 turns in a row. If it says failed again, I'm going to assume that that's the case. Nope. I want everything to miss. That was at least 4 or 5 flashes. And he still squeaked by 2 psychics. Let's see if I get lucky when the game does it, that it did it like 3 times in a row on me once and it worked. One hit KO. The trolling one. I like how there was no announcer for this fight, by the way. I like how he ran away. Like, I ain't announcing this fight. We just eliminated him at 11-11. We had the wish good luck. And now there's round 2. I've never done round 2 stuff. Oh my god, this was so stressful. Oh, I did it, but with your help. What, the Mewtwo fight? Hero's best girl. Is it because what, Firo had Horndrill? Drill Peck makes you happy. They did my boy Pidgeot dirty. I think Pidgeot's cooler than Firo, but if we're talking about utility, Firo is like leagues above Pidgeot. Pokemon Stadium. Look at that little TM. It's all blurred out because it's a 240p game being played on a 1080p stream. Oh, we get the new title screen now. Round 2 or round 1. Round 2 or round 1. Round 2 is at night now, I think, right? Yeah, everything's at night. And There's a different gym leader castle and everything, right? Where nothing is gonna make sense, I'm sure. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, that means we're not done. It means there's more. There's more of this waiting for us. I kind of want to try out the Dodrio Game Boy. Oh, look at that. This is different. This is way different. Is this the Dodrio border? Oh my god, this looks so blurry. Like someone spread Vaseline all over the stream. Oh my god, my eyes! Oh my god, whee! I'm gonna knock out. Take care. Talk to you tomorrow. Congrats on doing the first half. Yeah, it's only the first half. Look at me. Blue streak. Speeds by. Sonic the Hedgehog. We changed the backgrounds. So we can have the Pikachu one. You can have the Doduo one. And then the Dodrio one. Well, thank you for participating in the stream. This will be good for rushing out and catching some of those Pokemon now, I guess. I wonder if we can get rid of some of this Vaseline. Oh my god, I think I'd rather have the, I don't know, I think the D-Blur makes it look kind of better maybe? Oh god, it looks so blurry. Why does it look so blurry? I can do Pokemon Yellow stuff for now. To wrap up the stream, kind of take me to where good old Lapras is. Not Lapras. What am I talking about? Articuno. We didn't do anything to catch the Articuno. We'll put Pidgeot away. We don't need to fly right now. And I don't think I have a Pokemon with strength yet. Can they learn strength? Let's look that up real quick. Nope, can't learn it. Oh my god, I don't think I could play it like this. This is... Ugh. Because I was kind of goofing off earlier, so I wasted a lot of time there. Do we have anyone that's kind of like throwaway-ish? Oh my god, I messed up again. Gotta deposit Pidgeot first into that box. Oh yeah, that's right. I gotta switch back over to this box. I don't like saving. Oh, we're like hyper speed. No, these are all Pokemon I trained, so I don't want to throw away their moves. Like a million Drowsies. Got a level 16 Machop. That might do the trick. And it's in box 2. I gotta remember that. Man, do I not have any throwaway Pokemon here? Who's Cutter? Bellsprout. Can Bellsprout learn... Can Bellsprout learn it? No, it can't! Ugh. Alright, what's a Pokemon that can learn it that's easy to catch that we just fly out to the location then? Sandshrew? Sandshrew and Geodude. Perfect. Right out the gate. Hopefully we just throw an Ultra Ball and call it a day. Oh, you know what? Oh, can't fly inside the Pokemon Center. Duh. I need to do something real quick. On the Plaza, Blastoise. And we will withdraw. You know, I'm gonna hate myself if I don't do this. I'm gonna check its stats real quick. It's a level 8 Sandshrew with 28 HP, 19 attack, 19 defense, 11 speed, and 10 special. I do not feel bad at all about teaching it strength. I keep forgetting we can't fly in here. Who can fly in a building? What am I thinking? Name Raiders should be in Lavender Town, I think. I think we should name him Strong Man. I don't want to call him Strengther. We will go ahead and withdraw the Blastoise. Let me see something. Yep. Do I have to come in from Fuchsia for that to work? Let's deposit Strongman real quick. Just in case. I don't want to have to surf all the way out there for nothing. I need Strongman, but I also need a slot open. I'll deposit Blastoise for now, because I have Lapras on the team. Put Pikachu towards the top. There is a good chance we're going to encounter other Pokemon while we're there. I think for now the focus is going to be... Oh, let's save. Not gonna bother catching any of the other Pokemon until we capture the Articuno. Oh, Krabbies. We're not even gonna fight anything because Strong Man, use strength. Plenty of Pokemon we don't have yet, but that's not our objective right now. This is so tedious. Found an Ultra Ball. Oh, Golbat, not interested in you. Boulders might change the flow of the water. The current is much too fast, huh? Hey, I said run, not item. Oh, it's a Kingler. Well, we're not catching any of you guys right now. Seal. Definitely seeing a bunch of Pokemon. Strongman, you're up. There it is. We already got a Staryu, we don't need you. Doesn't want to get caught. And we caught it. And we'll check its stats. Oh, I can't check Pikachu. Alright, let's see if this was... Can our first one just be the good one? And we're done, please, I beg you. Alright. I can already tell you it's not gonna be good. Because I just did a preliminary check here just to see what kind of stats I need to be looking for. And it's looking pretty bad right now. Oh my goodness, if you guys could see this. It's from HP, attack, defense, special, and speed. It's 5, 6, 3, 1, 10. This is probably one of the worst IV spreads I've ever seen on a Pokemon. Oh, I'm frozen solid. Of course I am. What the heck? He's not feeling good. Oh my god, this one's even worse. Oh my god, it's even worse. I mean, its defense is better. Its speed is worse. Its special is slightly better. Oh my god, it is such a steaming pile of trash. Doesn't want to get caught. There we go. Okay, HP wise, this one's way better. Attack is kind of whatever. Defense is still trash. This one's a little bit better when it comes to speed, but its special stat tanked, which is probably one of its most important stats. It's 14, 9, 7, 0, and 13. It is hot trash. Yikes. We'll start off with a Thunder Wave. Oh my goodness. Light Screen. Thunderbolt. It's gonna be not good. You did your best. Alright. Ultra Ball go. Nothing. Ultra Ball go. Nothing. Ultra Ball go. Oh my god, this is gonna streamline catching stuff. Alright guys. This one is absolutely garbage when it comes to HP. The attack's a little better. Its defense tanked compared to the last one. Its speed is basically going to be 0 because like the lowest for this level is 90 and this is 93, and its special is 133. So once again we have a completely garbage level Articuno. There were people that were catching their legendary Pokemon without the ways of the IV calculator. The Ice Beam hurt a whole lot more than I would have wanted it to. And then he critted me. That's great. That's fantastic. And then we crit him. And we killed him. I need to like stand behind the Articuno because I keep facing down. Whenever you spawn in, you always face down. Oh my goodness. How's it doing so much damage? Why are you critting? Stop critting! When I want you to crit, you don't crit. Oh my lord. I have a feeling this one's not going to be very good at all. I like how the ones with probably the worst stats are the ones that like never want to get caught. I guarantee you this one that I'm throwing a million Ultra Balls at, it's not gonna get caught. Oh my gosh. I can guarantee you this one's gonna be garbage. The attack's already garbage. The defense is 1 point better than the last. It's got 103 speed, so at least that's an improvement. Its special is 141, which is way better compared to the other one. Okay. Attack is still 100, and its HP is 157. So its defense is really not that good. Got 7 for HP, 10 for attack, 5 for defense, 11 for special, and 13 for speed. But I'm not gonna lie to you, that if there were at least, if the HP and the defense were a little bit higher, this would probably be the one. I'm skipping out on it. I'm gonna probably regret it. I have 92 Ultra Balls. Ooh, it's gonna be bad. I mean, its defense, this is the best defense I've seen. Its speed tanked, pretty bad. Its special already kind of disqualifies it because it's gonna be like 1. And its HP tanked. Yeah, it's 110, 14, 18. Like not even a contest. I wish that I could see its stats as I'm catching it. Like before I even bother to catch it. Oh my goodness. Two crits when it used Ice Beam. I'll do this till for like about, let's say 17 more minutes, and then I'm gonna call it quits. I'm just kind of glad that we beat the Prime Cup. And then the next time I'm back, hopefully you'll see me with an Articuno that is worth it, guys. Oh my gosh, it just refuses to get caught. This is pretty bad. You're gonna have like the worst stats in the universe and you just refuse to get caught. Oh my goodness. Unbelievable. I'm down to 75 Ultra Balls. From 92, by the way. Why is it not getting into the stupid ball? This better have been worth it. He was so difficult to catch for 0 reason. Already can tell you no, because special is 131. It's gonna be 1 in IVs again. The only good stat it has is defense. Defense and its HP, which is probably gonna be 15, I assume. Yeah. Its special and speed are absolutely garbage. Like 2 of its most important stats, in my opinion. And it took that many Ultra Balls. So ridiculous. Unbelievable. And that was with a light screen? Of course. Oh my god, it was super effective. Why was it super effective? We should put in a timer. Not a timer. We should put a... How many times have we tried to catch Articuno? Oh my gosh, this is huge. Articuno catch attempt. Let's assume we've done like 5 so far. There we go. What am I doing? Thunderbolt. Okay. At a glance, this one looks like it might be better than some of the stuff we've seen before. Its attack is 105. Its HP is a little higher. Its defense tanked, so probably not gonna be good there. 104 into speed and 137 special, and that gives us 13, 15, 5, 7, 14. Again, the special leaves a lot to be desired for, so we're up to 6 now. It's gonna be our 6th attempted Articuno. Oh my goodness. This is probably gonna kill it. No, it didn't. Any second now, I'm sure. Any second now. Any second now. Any Ultra Ball now. Only down to 81. Yes. Alright, let's check this one out. So its special is 144, so that's already kind of promising. Its speed is 104, so it's a little better there. Its defense is 115, its attack is 103. And then its HP is where it tanks. It's got 14 to speed, 14 to special, 10 to defense, 13 to attack, and 8 to HP. Yo, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not greedy. I might roll out with this Articuno. This might be the Articuno. Its HP is 8, its attack is 13, which is really nice. It's 3 points over what I like to cut off at 10. Its defense is 10, its special is 14, its speed is 14. I'm really liking this Articuno, not gonna lie. I think this might be the Articuno to keep, guys. That actually didn't take us very long. I know that One Piece Slayer would kill me if I didn't do this, so let me go ahead and screen cap this. Send it his way. This is it. This is the Articuno to keep, guys. That my gut instinct is telling me I'm keeping this one. And who knows? Maybe it'll be on a future round 2 Pokemon Stadium team. I don't know. I doubt I have any. Nope. No way to get back. We gotta do it the old-fashioned way, guys. So, Lapras Surf. Our team is kind of banged up and dinged up. And I still gotta come back here to capture seals and all that other stuff. Nothing there. The bad thing about super speed like this is that it's hard to control everything. Let's go up this way and see what we find. Okay, so that's not the way that they want me to go up. We'll go up this way. Oh. Oh, we can get rid of the Articuno capture attempt text. Gonna need some escape ropes coming in here. Gonna buy some escape ropes. Is there another way to go even higher? Yes, there is. I'm sure there's a rock somewhere up there. I'm gonna have to push all the way down. In worst case, I could... Why not? I'll just check them at the PC box. I got a Slowpoke. Dopey Pokemon. And we'll try to catch the Krabby too. Oh, we got the Krabby. Maybe one of those will be a lucky one. Hopefully one of them will be a lucky one. Otherwise, I'm catching a whole lot of Pokemon boxes full. Oh, I hate that this game does that. All right, Strongman. Let's do some pushing of rock, Strongman. Let me explore this area. And we get out through here, I believe. Oh, that's right. I ain't got no fly right now. It'll be nice if one of those Krabbies ends up being good. Or if that Slowpoke ends up being good. Not gonna hold my breath just because it was the first attempt. First, let's heal up the team because I don't like having Pikachu all dinged up like that. Alright. Because I'm not gonna be able to do anything for a bit. I'm gonna go ahead and deposit our Articuno here. I'll arrange these things later. We'll go back to box 10 and we will withdraw. Let's try out this Krabby first. This is a level 27 Krabby. I'm going to be looking for, let's see, 57 HP, 65 attack, 59 defense, 34 into speed, and 22 special. It's kind of not so good. What about the second Krabby? Alright, this one is a level 25 Krabby with 56 HP, 62 attack, 57 defense, 33 speed, and 18 into special. And it is pretty bad. Both of these Krabbies are pretty bad, so both of these Krabbies I'm probably going to release. Because they're just going to take up space. Alright, and now let's check out the Slowpoke. Alright, so I'm going to change this here. Oops, Slowpoke. This is a level 28 Slowpoke. And just at a glance, let's see. Oh, it's going to have perfect into HP. That's pretty good. Its attack is 44. Its defense is 43. Its speed is 20. And its special is 34. Its attack and defense is pretty garbage, I'm not gonna lie. Everything else is great, but its attack and defense is pretty bad. And apparently it's better for attack and defense, so sorry Slowpoke, we're also gonna release you. At least we have your data now. Alright, so change box. Back to box 6. We're gonna withdraw this Articuno. We're gonna change box to box 10. We're gonna deposit it right up in there. Alright, so I still want that open slot. No, I already did this, but it's of course I have it at this point. Ah, we got a good Articuno. I love it. Oh yeah, I want to go to the mart. Can we buy escape rope here? I think I want like 10 escape ropes. gosh, I'm happy with today's progress. We did quite a bit in the grand scheme of things. With the assistance of One Piece Slayer, we were able to beat the Prime Cup Challenge with some of his advice. We went ahead and got the Dodrio Game Boy, which we've been messing around with till just now. We defeated Mewtwo. We got round 2. So we're doing pretty well, I think. I'm not gonna lie. Feel good about tonight. Better than I thought I was gonna feel, at least. So I think this is a good place for us to stop. This is about I usually do 3-hour streams. We can do 15 more minutes. However, change box. Wait, I'm gonna deposit. What are we gonna deposit? Let's deposit Charizard for now. We're gonna be looking at water types anyway. And let's withdraw Pidgeot for convenience. So we could fly back over here. Oh my gosh, blocking my way. And we still need Lapras. We didn't change box. Gotta change box. Gotta go back. Bill's PC. Change box. Make it box 6. A fresh box. For what we're about to do. Lapras, surf us all the way over there. Oh, I guess this will also answer the question of if I was ever able to just go in through the back of the cave. I don't care about Zubat. What? I think on this level I find all sorts of goodies, so we'll save here. Oh, it remembers that I'm gonna catch you just for convenience sake. Like, no contest. Because if you end up being good... Body slam. Oh my god, and we just critted you to death. I did not expect that. Wait a minute, I just realized these are all lower level to me. Whoops. I had that coming, I'm not gonna lie. Alright. Thunder Wave. And let's Ultra Ball. Oh, that was easy. New Pokedex data. Alright, and we have the seal here. Let's go ahead and check our stats. So we got a seal, which is level 26. Let's do this real quick. Oh, it's got perfect HP according to this, but let's see how it does everywhere else. Defense 38, speed is 34, and special is 42. Wow, its special is garbage. So we're not gonna keep you. Wait, right, does it remember that the rocks were there? I would like to check, but you know, Zubat's gonna Zubat. And Golbat's gonna Golbat. And Zubat's gonna Zubat, of course. Golbat's gonna Golbat. Golbat's gonna Golbat. Did I just get lucky with some of those encounters I had? Because... Alright, that's better. Here's a Krabby. Ultra Ball, go! Oh, he didn't want to get caught. Alright, this Krabby is a level 29 Krabby. HP is 59. I can already tell you it's probably not going to be all that great. 67, 63, 34, and 21. It is a pretty garbage level Pokemon, like not even worth reading the stats. Not gonna lie. This is probably what I'm gonna be doing throughout this week, guys, and then I'll level up those Pokemon. Evolve them as necessary. And then we'll have additional Pokemon that we can use for Stadium. HP is even worse. The attack is better. Defense is way worse. Like, I almost don't even want to bother continuing this. 38 speed and 25 special. Yeah, it's pretty garbage tier. Krabbies aren't even that great, apparently. Just by looking at some of its stats here and knowing how in-game moves work. We caught a pretty good Articuno, that's all I know. I'm just still stoked that we completed the Prime Cup, we got a good Articuno, we defeated Mewtwo, we unlocked round 2, we got the Dodrio Game Boy that we're totally taking advantage of right now. Just to see if we get lucky with some of these Pokemon catches. Even worse. Every stat went down except for defense, I think. Speed went up by 1. Special dropped by 1. Yeah, this is this is not good. Oh, it's a seal. Thunder Wave. And we're not gonna attack you because we'll kill you. And we'll make you faint, rather. Alright, so... we got a level 26 seal. With 72 HP, 34 attack, 37 defense, 32 speed, and 48 special. I'm not holding my breath for this. Oh, well, you know, kind of mid. That special is good. The speed is kind of whatever. I feel like we can do better, though. Professor Oak's probably like, what's happening to this Pokedex? Why does it keep saying it got one and then not? Hello, Krabby, we meet again. Alright, for the Krabby. 62 HP, that's a lot better. Its attack tanked, that's not good. Its attack was already pretty bad. And considering attack is its best stat, I don't even want to continue trying to see the rest of these stats. Oh god, so much stuff is dropping. Ugh. It's got attack and speed at 2 to 3 and 0 to 1 respectively. Not good. Oh. Be doing this for another 6 minutes or so, and then probably gonna end stream. It's looking like this is gonna be pretty bad. Bring this back up. Krabby. Yup, because its HP is already 1. Its attack is 71 though. What would that be? 9 to 10. Defense is 65. Oh wait, I didn't adjust for this. Yeah, it's not very good. I mean, some of the other stats are good, but its HP and speed went to the toilet. That's a Zubat. Why am I even thinking about it? Oh hey, it's a seal again. Alright, the seal has even worse HP, even worse attack. Its defense is the same. It's slower than the last one we attempted to catch, and its special is even worse. So 3 to 4, 9 to 10, 7 to 8, 0, 1, 0, 1. Yeah, no. I know what I'm gonna be doing throughout the week. And I also gotta look out for Slowpoke. Oh, this one's a level 30. Ooh, aren't we impressive? Oh, and you don't want to be caught. No, really, you don't want to be caught. What the heck? Get in the ball. You're not going to be that special, because every time you guys do this, your stats are always like the worst. Oh my goodness. I can't fight you. If I fight you, I'm going to kill you. There's no false swipe in this game. Just get in the ball. Oh my goodness. Stay in the ball. Watch, it's gonna be worse stats than anything we've ever seen. Alright, so it's got, why am I doing it this way? 84 to HP, attack to 35, defense is 46, speed is 40, and special is 48. And the stats are 9, 5 to 6, 14, 2, 3, and 14 for HP, attack, defense, special, and speed respectively. It is hot garbage. It is hot, stinky, poo-poo garbage. Ooh, it's a Kingler. I didn't expect to run into you again, old friend. And it's probably not going to be all that good, to be honest. And special 37. Yeah, I called it. It is pretty bad. Like really, really, really bad. That's a lot of zeros. A lot more zeros than I would like to see. Like, so one of the stats looks like it's counting up. It's like 0 to 1, 2 to 3, then 4. And Ultra Ball. Swap over to the Krabby, level 29 Krabby one. Oh my gosh. You know it's gonna be bad, right? Because the second that it takes this many Ultra Balls to catch, it's always bad. But we will see. Alright, so 64 HP, not bad. 74 attack, okay. Oh, okay. Oh, but your defense tanked. Your speed is mildly better than the last one, which is not saying much, and your special remained the same. So your defense is everything was great about this Krabby except its defense. Its HP is 14, attack is 14 to 15. Its defense is 2 to 3, its special is 10 to 11, and its speed is 9 to 10. It's not a good Krabby. There's no way I can do this going forward for each and every other gen of Pokemon. Because it's too many Pokemon. I don't even know how most of these stats are going to translate over when I migrate these Pokemon to Gold and Silver. Oh, it's a seal. Come on, be our last good bit of news, seal. Come on. Because I'm gonna be stomping right after this attempt. Alright. I don't know why I had a brain fart and I just stared at its stats for a while. Maybe it's just completely dumbfounded by it. This is a level 30 seal. So compared to the last level 30, it's already doing pretty bad. Oh my god, it's doing terrible. Oh my god, every stat has gone down except for special. 2-3, 2-3, 2-3, 10-11, 10-11. No. Alright, I want to do one more. This is officially the last one. What's it gonna be? Don't be a Zubat. Alright, it's a level 31 Krabby. Look at this little outlier over here. Oh, and he just cooperated. He wanted to get caught. I'm just gonna change the stats for this one up to 31. And I can already tell you it's bad because some of the numbers are remaining the same. Oh my god, and some of them are actually going down. Oh my goodness, some of them are going down. Oh my god, it's so bad. I said that was the last one, and I lied to myself. Like, I want a mid, at least. Just a mid. Doesn't need to be anything special, just mid. I want to leave on a mid note. Okay, but if I keep getting nothing but Zubats, I'm out of here. I'm bouncing. There's another Zubat. I just said I don't care for Zubat. Alright, it's another CO, but this one's level 26. Or are they all level 26? I don't know. Alright, last attempt. If it wants to get caught anyway. Alright, this one's for really, this is the last one. Alright, its HP is 77. Better than the last one. Its attack went even lower, so I can already tell you we're not keeping it. 40. Speed is 34. And its special is 44. Yep, nope. Alright, so that was officially the last one. So I like saving at Pokemon centers though. Oh my gosh. Okay, fine. Only because I don't have data on you. I'm going back to the Pokemon Center anyway. 76. Attack is 32. Defense went way down, like 5 whole points. Its speed went down 4 points from the last one, and its special remained the same, so I'm only keeping you just because I'm going back to the Pokemon Center anyway, and I just want to have your data. Pidgeot, fly. Alright, we're gonna save like normally. Alright. And that is it for tonight's stream, guys. I want to thank you guys for tuning in and watching. I'm glad that things turned out better. I'm glad that we have our Dodrio Game Boy. Wait, is it gonna be nighttime when we go in? No, it's daytime. I didn't notice from before. Alright, so want to give you guys a big old thank you for watching. I'll catch some more Pokemon off stream. I'll let you guys know what we catch. I'll probably try to stream again. I always say that I'm going to try to stream on Tuesdays, and that never happens, but I still like to let you guys know. I will definitely at least put the effort to try and stream on Tuesday, but it's probably not going to happen. It'll probably be another Sunday before you guys see me again. So I want to thank you guys for watching. Big ol' shout out to official One Piece Slayer for hopping in and being the moral support that I need to get through all the wackiness that is Pokemon Stadium, and just advising me. He was a big Pokemon fan growing up. He's my best friend, and I appreciate him for stopping into all these streams and just giving us advice, and you know, letting me bounce ideas off of him as to how to deal with some of these battles. So yeah, guys, thank you all for watching. There's a lot of users in the chat, but not a lot of viewers. I have more people in the chat than viewers. I don't know how that works, but whatever. I like the person in there with the 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, making me totally not think you're a bot. But anyway, unless that's really your username, speak up or forever hold your peace. So I want to thank you guys for popping in and watching. I said that like a million times already, but I do appreciate those of you who pop in and show support. This VOD should be uploaded sometime soon over at my YouTube channel, so I'll just do my plugs now. If you want to know when I'm going to stream, go ahead and give me a follow over at twitter.com/LeeMustang. I'll usually post a little bit before when I'm going to stream on there, but usually it's Sunday starting at 9 till about midnight Eastern time. If you want to see what I'm adding to my game collection over time, feel free to give me a follow over at instagram.com/Lee.Mustang. And of course, if you want to watch the rest of this playthrough, and of course any of the other videos I have uploaded, I do lots of let's plays, long plays. I even got a couple review videos up on my channel. Go ahead and give me a follow over at youtube.com/LeeMustang. And if you happen to be watching this over at youtube.com/LeeMustang, please let me know what you think in the comments down below. Subscribe to my channel to help it grow. Click the little bell icon to be in the know, and I will see you guys in the next stream. So until then, guys, take care, and I'll see you in the next stream. Later.